Hamas chief's daughter-in-law, Inas Haniyeh, has mourned the group's leader with the tearful video that was recorded in Gaza City.
With heart's content with the decree of God, I mourn a man whose memory shakes both earth and sky, a man who needs no definition. I mourn my uncle, my beloved, my father, the crown of my head, and the joy of my eyes, Uncle Abu Labd Haniyeh. He has joined the ranks of the Mujahideen, the truthful and the faithful. He's the martyr, the hero, the leader, the great, the glorious. We say nothing but what pleases God. The eyes shed tears and the heart grieves. We are saddened by your departure. We belong to God, and to Him we shall return. O Allah, grant us patience in our misfortune and a better future than this. The affliction is great, but we need solace in the belief that this life is transient. And God willing, we will meet again in a paradise as vast as the heavens and the earth. Farewell, O leader of the nation.
Well, joining me live in the studio is Sami Al Arian, who's the director of the Centre for Islam and Global Affairs at Istanbul Sabahattin Zaim University. Welcome to you, Sami, as you've been joining us throughout our rolling news coverage over the last few hours. We heard a response from a family member there. We've heard a response from Iran's supreme leader, who said, avenging Haniyeh is our duty because he was in Iran. It's a definitive statement of intent. What form, though, could the response take? What are the options available to Iran?
Well, let's remember also yesterday they assassinated or probably assassinated a leader from Hezbollah. So this could come from actually different countries, not just from Iran. It's a huge embarrassment for Iran, and they would have to respond in kind. And that means we've seen a glimpse of what could the response be. Back in April, when they assassinated another Iranian leader in Damascus, then it was advertised, actually. It was publicly announced that they were going to hit an Israeli target. And during that time, Israel wasn't able to defend itself. They had to bring in the United States, United Kingdom, France, even Saudi Arabia and Jordan in order to help in thwarting that. And even with all that, several ballistic missiles hit an Israeli military target. The objective of that target was to show that Iran is capable of penetrating Israeli space. So what could happen now? I think right now it's not going to be advertised as in the past. It's probably going to be a massive retaliation if they're going to carry through with this announcement, not only coming from Iran, but possibly also coming from different places such as Lebanon, even Yemen or Iraq.
The sense suggested by those previous attacks, because they were advertised in advance, was that, we're giving you the opportunity to defend against this. We want to show that we're doing something, but there wasn't, necessarily real venom in it. Do you think it will be a stronger response than this time?
I think so. I think this time around it's going to be different, because this is not just hitting a target outside Iran. This is assassinating a political leader, a very consequential political leader, the leader of the Islamic resistance movement, in the midst of the Iranian capital during an inauguration of a president. That's a huge statement that you cannot go unignored.
Israel has a history of assassinations abroad. It's been going on for more than half a century. You suspect they do it because they feel that they're achieving something by this, but there's a lot of experts who argue that actually, apart from maybe a quick, almost Pyrrhic victory, that long term, this just fosters more anti-Israeli sentiment, and it actually works against them if you look in years down the road. What's your opinion on that?
That's true. Unfortunately, the Israeli regime have been using assassination as a tool. And this is not something that started yesterday or today. This is something that has been going on for decades. There is a book that came, I think, 2018, talks about the history of political assassinations and military assassinations against Palestinians. It goes all the way back to the 40s. So what we're seeing today is the implementation of this, but never worked. Back in '92, they assassinated the first General Secretary of Hezbollah, Abbas Musawi, and they ended up with Nasrallah, who was even much more forceful against them. And they have assassinated Ahmed Yassin and Abdelaziz Rantisi, who were two of the first leaders of Hamas back in 2004, within 3 weeks of each other. And then they got Khalid Mishal and they got Haniyeh, and certainly someone else is going to emerge also. Hamas and Hezbollah and others are not tied to personalities. These are movements that are very deeply rooted in the societies that they emerged from, and they are there to resist the Israeli hegemony, Israeli control. Israel is out of control. It's a rogue state now, and it's doing something that no other nation does on earth. I mean, we haven't seen that kind of a vengeful genocidal wars probably in the past, since World War II, since the actual Holocaust was taking place against the Jewish communities themselves in Europe.
Why does Israel keep doing it? It must feel it's getting something from this.
Because they feel that they are exception, that they are superior to others, that they have this entitlement because of what happened to them throughout history. And that's how they justify it to themselves, that they are the chosen people of God. This Zionist ideology is a venom. It's a supremacist, racist ideology that gives them this feeling of entitlement and this feeling that they can get away with whatever it is. And because they actually have been getting away with it because of the American support that they've been getting for decades.
It's a show of strength, you would think, usually, killing somebody, especially on another nation's sovereign territory. But I just wonder, and I was just looking for the previous quotes from Benjamin Netanyahu, but he said this year and he said last year on separate occasions that his plan was to get rid of Hamas leadership, and he said he'd given the okay to Mossad to put them basically in their sights. This was his long-term plan. He'd almost pinned his entire operation in Gaza upon destroying Hamas leadership. Could this actually be, as opposed to a show of strength, actually a way of trying to get out of the conflict? Could it be he gets a high-profile scalp and it gives him an opportunity to then perhaps withdraw Israel's military from Gaza?
Well, first of all, it's not just going after the leaders themselves. He went after their children, their daughters, their sons, their grandchildren. They have been after every member of their family. So that tells you what kind of people these are. They go after children, baby killers. But could it be a way out? I mean, somebody could argue that, but it doesn't seem that Netanyahu is looking for a way out. He's looking to prolong this war. If anything we can get out of the speech he gave last week to Congress, it's that he has no vision, no idea to how to stop this war. He wanted to continue this war for, number one, in order to escape accountability and not to go to prison, because if this war is shut down, he may actually go to prison because of the corruption charges against him. But also, I think he is favoring Trump in this race, and Trump will have a more probability of being elected as president with this war going on rather than being shut down. And that's why the Democrats, at least temporarily, they would like to shut this war down, because it will be less likely for Harris to be elected with this war going on because of the social upheaval. It may emerge during the fall semester on campuses around the United States.
Sami, thank you so much for joining me, and I'm sure we're going to speak again later on in the hour. There's so many elements to this story and ramifications to discuss. Appreciate it for now.